For those of you familiar with Texas, you know that one of the most popular weekend destinations is the Texas Hill Country in the central part of the state. Very popular to visit on weekends. These towns can often get quite crowded on a busy Saturday, and it can be frustrating if you're trying to get a hotel or a bed and breakfast to actually find a room. But I'm here today to showcase some of the towns that perhaps are a little quieter, a little less crowded. When you think about the Wild West of Texas, look no further than the town of Mason. A fort was built in this area around the year 1851, which served as the front lines on the edge of the Wild West Texas frontier. And so Johnny Ringo, one of the better known outlaws of the late 1800s, spent a few years here, and during that time he was caught up in what was known as the Hoodoo Wars. Basically a war that was started because there were people stealing cattle from German ranchers in this area, this being primarily a German settlement. And so one of those cattle rustlers was shot and killed and started a big uprising, and I think several people were killed during this mini war. And so a few years later, Johnny Ringo left Texas and ended up in Arizona, where he's well known for his exploits there. And so Mason has a very broad town square. You see all these beautiful brick buildings as you drive into town from the east. It definitely has that old west feel to it. More so than most of the towns in the hill country, in my opinion. You know the great classic Disney movie, Old Yeller? One of my childhood favorites. Well, the author of that book is from Mason, Texas. And here's a statue commemorating him. One of the things that the Germans were clearly good at in those days was constructing beautiful stone buildings. And this is another example of that. You see several throughout this town. This is the old Mason Grammar School. Now serves as a library and museum. High up on a hill above Mason lies the remains of Fort Mason. Wow, so this fort trained both Union and Confederate generals. That's pretty impressive. So you see at the top, those were Confederate generals, and the bottom, Union generals during the Civil War trained here. That is amazing. Nice sweeping views of the town below. One more thing you've just got to see if you come to Mason is the gorgeous Sequest House. This is the oldest mansion still standing in the state of Texas, built in the year 1887. An absolute stunner. It's my understanding there are 4 floors in this home, and from the pictures I've seen online, gorgeous wood on the floors and walls on the inside. Unfortunately, right now there are no public tours of this mansion, though I think you can book a private tour. Minimum 5 people, I believe. So I'm standing here on the town square in Rocksprings, Texas. A very cute little downtown area. Different from Mason. Mason was very open and broad, whereas this one is much smaller. Everything feels a lot closer together. And so Rock Springs is what I consider the westernmost outpost in the Texas Hill Country region. And so there are numerous recreation areas that you can access from this town. You have the Devil's River, Kickapoo Caverns, Devil's Sinkhole, and even South Llano State Park, all within an hour of this town. So if I had to describe this square, it's one of the more adorable little town squares that you'll see in the hill country. Not a heck of a lot here, but very cute and worth stopping to check out for sure. So if you like historic hotels, this is one you should certainly check out. The Rock Springs Hotel at the corner of the main square, built in 1916. So the inside of this hotel is gorgeous. It's a nice dining room for the guests to use. Have a lounge area. And there's even a kitchen back here that they allow the guests to use. So if you bring some food that you want to prepare, you're welcome to use the stove, oven, microwaves to prepare your meal. Pretty nice place.